Canned and ready-to-eat meals have become a major part of modern diets, especially in countries like the United States, where convenience and long shelf life are highly valued. From soups and stews to plant-based alternatives, these products are designed to provide quick, filling meals with minimal preparation. However, while they may save time and effort, not all of these options are equally healthy or safe for regular consumption. Many popular canned foods are highly processed and often contain excessive amounts of sodium, preservatives, unhealthy fats, and artificial additives that can negatively impact long-term health. In this list, we take a closer look at some widely consumed canned food brands, ranking them from those you should avoid or limit to those that are considered safer and more balanced choices. The goal is to highlight not just taste and popularity, but also nutritional quality, ingredient transparency, and overall health impact. Understanding these differences can help you make smarter decisions when choosing convenient meals without compromising your health. Number 6. Dinty Moore Beef Stew. Dinty Moore Beef Stew, made by Hormel Foods, is one of the most recognizable canned ready-to-eat meals in the United States, often marketed as a hearty, filling, and convenient option. However, despite its popularity and long-standing presence on store shelves, it is frequently criticized by nutrition experts and consumers for several important reasons that make it a product many people choose to avoid or at least limit. The most significant concern is its extremely high sodium content, which is the primary reason it is often flagged as unhealthy. A single serving can contain a large percentage of the recommended daily sodium intake, and since many people consume the entire can in one sitting, this can easily exceed safe daily limits, contributing to high blood pressure, increased risk of heart disease, and long-term cardiovascular issues. Beyond sodium, the stew is also considered a highly processed food, containing preservatives, stabilizers, and flavor enhancers that reduce its nutritional quality compared to freshly prepared meals, while also giving it a somewhat artificial taste that many reviewers describe as overly salty, metallic, or lacking depth. Another commonly reported issue is the quality of ingredients, particularly the beef, which is often criticized for being inconsistent in texture, sometimes too soft or rubbery, and not resembling fresh, high-quality meat, leading to a less satisfying eating experience. The vegetables in the stew, such as potatoes and carrots, are also typically overcooked due to the canning process, resulting in a mushy texture and diminished flavor, which further contributes to the perception of the product as low quality. Additionally, while it is marketed as a protein-rich meal, the balance of nutrients is not ideal, as it may contain relatively high amounts of saturated fat alongside its sodium, without offering sufficient fiber or fresh nutrients found in less processed foods. Another underlying concern, though less frequently discussed today, relates to canned food packaging, where historically some products used linings containing chemicals like BPA, raising questions about long-term exposure, although many manufacturers have taken steps to reduce or eliminate these substances. Overall, while Dinty Moore Beef Stew can be convenient in situations where quick, shelf-stable food is needed, the combination of very high sodium, the most important reason to avoid it, processed ingredients, inconsistent meat quality, and generally poor texture and taste makes it a product that is widely considered unsuitable for regular consumption, especially for individuals who are health-conscious or managing conditions like hypertension. Instead, it is often recommended to view it as an occasional emergency or backup meal rather than a staple food in a balanced diet. Number 5. Gardein Vegan Soups. Gardein vegan soups are often marketed as a healthier, plant-based alternative to traditional canned soups, appealing especially to people who want meat-free, environmentally friendly, or cruelty-free options. At first glance, these soups seem like a smart choice because they are labeled vegan, non-GMO, and sometimes even high in protein, with some varieties offering around 11 to 15 grams of protein per can. However, despite this healthy image, many nutrition experts and consumers point out several important drawbacks that make these soups something you should be cautious about consuming regularly. The most important reason to avoid or limit Gardein soups is their very high sodium content, which can be surprisingly high even compared to non-vegan canned soups. For example, a single serving of plant-based chicken noodle soup can contain around 1,070 milligrams of sodium, about 47% of daily value. And a full can may push intake close to or above the recommended daily limit, especially when combined with other foods. Some products are reported to contain over 45% of the daily sodium limit per serving, which is a serious concern because excessive sodium intake is strongly linked to high blood pressure, heart disease, and long-term cardiovascular problems. Beyond sodium, another issue is that these soups are still ultra-processed foods, meaning they contain engineered plant-based meat substitutes, flavorings, and stabilizers designed to mimic real meat, which can make the ingredient list longer and less natural than expected. While they avoid animal products, they may still rely heavily on processed soy or wheat proteins and additives to achieve taste and texture, which some consumers find artificial or overly salty. Taste and texture complaints are also common in reviews, with people describing the plant-based meat pieces as slightly rubbery or lacking authenticity, and the broth as overly seasoned or unnatural. Even on official product pages. Customers have noted that the sodium levels are crazy high and discouraged repeat purchases. Additionally, although these soups provide protein, they may lack balance in other nutrients such as fiber and fresh vitamins compared to homemade or minimally processed plant-based meals. Another hidden issue is that the healthy vegan label can create a false sense of health, leading people to consume them more frequently than they should, despite their processed nature and salt content. Overall, while Gardein vegan soups can be convenient and suitable for occasional use, especially for those following a plant-based diet, the combination of very high sodium, the biggest reason to avoid, processed ingredients, artificial taste concerns, and misleading health perception makes them a product that should not be relied on as a regular healthy meal, but rather used sparingly as a quick, occasional option. Number 4. Snow's Clam Chowder. Snow's Clam Chowder, a long-running seafood product now associated with Bumblebee Foods, is a classic American canned soup that is widely recognized for its creamy New England-style recipe made with clams, potatoes, and dairy. While it is often marketed as a hearty and comforting meal with decent protein content, there are several important reasons why nutrition experts and consumers frequently recommend limiting or avoiding it, especially for regular consumption. The most important reason to avoid Snow's clam chowder is its extremely high sodium content, which is a major health concern. Even a single serving can contain around 600 to 900 milligrams of sodium, and a full can may exceed 1,400 milligrams, which is more than half of the recommended daily intake. This level of sodium is problematic because frequent consumption can significantly increase the risk of high blood pressure, heart disease, and stroke over time. In addition to sodium, the soup is also relatively high in fat, particularly because it contains cream, butter, and oils, which can contribute to increased calorie intake and may not be suitable for people trying to maintain a healthy weight or manage cholesterol levels. Another major issue is that Snow's clam chowder is a highly processed food, containing a long list of ingredients such as modified cornstarch, flavorings, stabilizers, like xanthan gum, and additives used to maintain texture and shelf life. These ingredients can make the soup feel less natural and more artificial compared to homemade versions. The quality and texture are also commonly criticized. Because the product is canned and shelf-stable, the potatoes often become overly soft and mushy, while the clam pieces can be inconsistent in size and flavor, sometimes lacking the fresh seafood taste people expect. Another concern is that canned clam chowder in general is often nutritionally unbalanced, offering moderate protein but relatively low fiber and fresh nutrients, while still being calorie-dense due to fats and refined carbohydrates. Additionally, many canned chowders, including Snow's, use wheat flour as a thickener, which makes them unsuitable for people with gluten sensitivity, and they may also include allergens like milk, soy, and seafood, limiting who can safely consume them. There is also the broader issue of canned food packaging, where concerns about chemical linings, like BPA in the past, have raised questions about long-term exposure, although improvements have been made in recent years. Overall, while Snow's clam chowder can be convenient and filling for occasional use, the combination of very high sodium, the biggest and most important reason to avoid, high fat content, processed ingredients, and average ingredient quality makes it a product that is not ideal for regular consumption, particularly for individuals who are health-conscious or managing conditions such as hypertension. It is best treated as an occasional comfort food rather than a staple in a balanced diet. Number 3. Campbell's soups, produced by Campbell Soup Company, are among the most popular and widely consumed canned soups in the world, known for their iconic red and white cans and long history dating back to the 19th century. They are especially appealing because of their affordability, convenience, and wide variety of flavors, ranging from classic tomato and chicken noodle to more filling, chunky meal-style soups. However, despite this popularity, many health experts and consumers recommend limiting their regular consumption due to several nutritional and quality concerns. The most important reason to avoid or reduce intake of many Campbell's soups is their high sodium content, which is a consistent issue across a large portion of their product range. A single serving can often contain 700 to 900 milligrams of sodium, and since one can typically include 2 servings, it is very easy to consume well over 1,400 milligrams in one meal, which is close to or exceeds the recommended daily intake for many individuals. This high sodium intake is strongly linked to increased risks of high blood pressure, heart disease, and stroke, especially when consumed frequently over time. In addition to sodium, many Campbell's soups are considered ultra-processed foods, containing additives such as modified starches, flavor enhancers, preservatives, and stabilizers that help extend shelf life and maintain consistency, but reduce overall nutritional quality compared to fresh or homemade soups. Another issue often pointed out is the ingredient quality, as some varieties rely on refined ingredients, added sugars, especially in tomato-based soups, and lower quality meats or vegetables that may not provide the same taste or nutritional value as less processed alternatives. Taste and texture can also be inconsistent. Some consumers report that certain soups are overly salty, watery, or lacking in substantial ingredients like meat or vegetables, which can make them feel less satisfying as a polnocenny meal. There are also historical concerns related to can linings, particularly the use of chemicals like BPA, which raised questions about potential health effects, although the company has made efforts to transition to safer alternatives in many products. Furthermore, while some options are marketed as healthy or low-fat, they may still contain high sodium or hidden additives, which can mislead consumers into thinking they are making a better choice than they actually are. Overall, While Campbell's soups can be a convenient and budget-friendly option for quick meals or emergencies, the combination of very high sodium, the most important reason to avoid frequent consumption, processed ingredients, and variable ingredient quality makes them less suitable as a regular part of a healthy diet. Instead, they are best consumed occasionally, with a preference for lower sodium versions and careful label checking to make more informed choices. Now let's talk about 2 safe picks. Number 2. Progresso. Progresso is one of the most well-known, ready-to-eat soup brands in the United States, owned by General Mills. Convenient soups that do not require dilution with water, which makes it especially popular among busy consumers looking for quick, filling meals. Unlike many traditional condensed soups, Progresso products are typically sold as fully prepared, ready-to-heat meals, often featuring visible chunks of vegetables, meat, beans, and pasta. Progresso introduced reduced sodium variants, which are significantly safer for regular consumption and better suited for people monitoring blood pressure or heart health. The brand also emphasizes ingredient transparency, often highlighting real vegetables, lean proteins, and whole ingredients, which contributes to its reputation as a more wholesome choice. Packaging is another aspect worth noting. Progresso soups are typically sold in BPA-free lined cans, reflecting industry-wide improvements in food safety standards. The soups are shelf-stable, making them convenient for long-term storage without refrigeration, which adds to their practicality. Overall, Progresso strikes a balance between taste, convenience, and relatively better nutritional quality. While it may not reach the clean or organic standards of premium brands, it stands out as a reliable, everyday option that combines traditional comfort food flavors with modern health considerations when the right variants are chosen. Number 1. Amy's Organic. Amy's Organic, produced by Amy's Kitchen, is widely regarded as one of the cleanest and healthiest canned soup brands available in the United States. Founded in 1987, the company is a family-owned business that focuses entirely on organic, vegetarian, and non-GMO convenience foods, including soups, frozen meals, and snacks. What makes Amy's stand out in the crowded soup market is its strong commitment to natural ingredients and transparent food practices. All of its soups are made using certified organic vegetables, grains, and legumes that are grown without synthetic pesticides or genetically modified organisms, which significantly reduces chemical exposure compared to conventional brands. One of the defining features of Amy's soups is ingredient quality. Instead of artificial preservatives, flavors, or colors, the brand relies on simple, recognizable components such as organic lentils, tomatoes, carrots, beans, and herbs. For example, many of its soups contain only filtered water, organic vegetables, spices, and sea salt, reflecting a home-style cooking philosophy. This clean label approach appeals strongly to health-conscious consumers, vegetarians, and those with dietary restrictions. In fact, all Amy's products are vegetarian, with many also being vegan and gluten-free, making them suitable for a wide range of lifestyles. From a nutrition and safety standpoint, Amy's organic soups are considered among the safest options in the canned food category. They typically contain no added MSG, no preservatives, and no trans fats, and many varieties are specifically designed to be lower in sodium compared to traditional canned soups. For instance, light in sodium versions can have significantly reduced salt levels while still maintaining flavor, making them a better choice for people concerned about heart health or blood pressure. Additionally, the use of organic ingredients ensures the absence of harmful agricultural chemicals, further enhancing their safety profile. Packaging also reflects the brand's safety focus. Amy's uses BPA-free can linings, aligning with modern food safety standards and addressing earlier concerns associated with chemical leaching in canned foods. While no packaged food is completely perfect, Amy's takes extra steps to minimize potential risks and maintain product integrity. Overall, Amy's Organic represents a premium, health-focused alternative to mainstream canned soups. It combines clean ingredients, ethical sourcing, and balanced nutrition, making it an ideal choice for consumers seeking both convenience and high-quality, safe food options, though it typically comes at a higher price point compared to conventional brands. In conclusion, while canned foods like Dinty Moore beef stew, Gardein soups, Snow's clam chowder, and many Campbell's varieties are convenient and widely available, they come with significant drawbacks, especially their very high sodium content, processed ingredients, and inconsistent nutritional balance. These factors make them less suitable for regular consumption, particularly for individuals who are health conscious or managing conditions like high blood pressure or heart disease. On the other hand, brands like Progresso and Amy's Organic offer relatively safer alternatives by focusing on better ingredient quality, reduced additives, and more balanced nutrition, especially when choosing low-sodium or organic variants. While they are not perfect, they represent a step in the right direction for those who want both convenience and better health choices. Ultimately, the key is moderation and awareness. No canned food should fully replace fresh, home-cooked meals, but choosing higher quality options and limiting intake of heavily processed products can make a meaningful difference in your overall diet. By reading labels and understanding what you consume, you can enjoy the convenience of packaged foods without compromising your long-term health.